Before we begin, I would like to encourage everyone to take a moment to reflect and connect with the land that you're currently standing on and reflect on who the original occupants were. As for the Ontario College of Teachers, our offices stand on the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples. I also acknowledge that the City of Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit. We express our sincere gratitude for sharing these lands for our mutual benefit. My name is Iona Mitchell, and I am the manager of the Membership Records Unit in the Membership Services Department. On behalf of the staff in the unit, I welcome you all virtually to the Ontario College of Teachers to learn about obtaining documents to complete your application. I want to provide a little background about the college first. The college was established in 1997 to license, govern, and regulate Ontario's teaching profession in the public interest. The college was created by the Ontario College of Teachers Act to issue, suspend, and revoke teaching certificates, to set ethical standards and standards of practice, to investigate and hear concerns and complaints about members, and to accredit teacher education programs and courses. All publicly funded school teachers and administrators in Ontario must be certified by us and be members of the college. Today's session is on obtaining documents and is presented by the college's Membership Records Unit. The Membership Records Unit supports the Membership Services Department in managing the receipt, validation, and assessment of member and applicant documents and processing applications for certification, as well as supporting member updates and qualifications. Each year, the college receives on average 6,000 applications for membership. The majority are from graduates of Ontario faculties of education. Approximately 1,500 of those applications are from internationally educated teachers or from teachers certified in another Canadian jurisdiction. The Membership Records Unit receives approximately 10,000 documents for review a month in support of member and applicant files. The intention for this session is to provide you with the knowledge and tools required to complete the document requirements to put you in control of your application as much as possible. In this session, we will review the documents required to satisfy the college's academic, professional suitability, language proficiency, and sexual abuse prevention program requirements. When you applied, you were asked to review the registration guide before starting your application. If you have not already reviewed this document, we encourage you to do so as it is each applicant's responsibility to review the certification and document requirements in applying to the college. We will now go through each of the 5 requirements in more detail, starting with the academic requirement. Your academic or post-secondary degree, for example, a Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, must have been completed at an institution recognized or accredited in the jurisdiction where it was completed, and it must include the equivalent of at least 3 years of full-time study or 90 credits. Once certified, all degrees awarded will be listed on your teaching certificate. Details on the degree transcripts used to meet this requirement will be covered later in this session. The second requirement is the professional requirement, or the requirement to have completed an acceptable program of teacher education. This program must be at least 4 semesters of post-secondary study. In the Canadian post-secondary system, an academic year is usually comprised of 2 semesters. Your teacher education program must be academic, not employment-based, and completed at the post-secondary level. The program must also lead to certification or authorized to teach in the jurisdiction where you completed the program. The college will consider programs that include academic and teacher education courses, provided the program is a combination of 3 years of academic coursework and 4 semesters of teacher education coursework. Further details on the teacher education program documents used to meet this requirement will be covered later in this session. All applicants must demonstrate that they are of good character to be able to teach in Ontario. To assess your professional suitability, the college requires that you provide a current Canadian criminal record check report, complete responses to the application declaration questions in the online application about your suitability for registration. We also require a teaching certificate and a statement of professional standing from the jurisdiction where you completed your teacher education program, even if you never taught there, as well as from every jurisdiction where you did teach. Details on the statement of professional standing document used to meet this requirement will be covered later in this session. Next is the language proficiency requirement. Every applicant must satisfy language proficiency. You meet the college's requirements without having to provide additional proof if you completed an acceptable teacher education program in a jurisdiction listed in the registration guide as known to deliver all programs of professional education either entirely in English or entirely in French. Also, if you are certified in another Canadian jurisdiction and, at the time of certification, you were assessed for language proficiency and met that jurisdiction's requirements, you do not need to provide evidence of language proficiency. Otherwise, you need to provide one of the following documents to the college to meet the language proficiency requirement. The first option is to have a letter sent from the head of the teacher education institution you attended, confirming that your entire teacher education program was completed entirely in English or entirely in French. If your teacher education program was not offered in English or French, but your primary or secondary schooling as well as your post-secondary education were completed entirely in English or French, you can arrange for an official letter from each institution. That is, a letter from your primary or secondary school confirming that all years were completed either entirely in English or entirely in French, as well as a letter from your post-secondary institution confirming the language of instruction for the entire program. The third option is to complete one of the college-approved language tests. If you complete a test, but the results do not meet our minimum scores, you should still have the results sent to the college because if all other documents are on file, your file will be forwarded for assessment and you will receive a decision assessing your full application and any additional steps you need to take to obtain your certificate. The tests are listed here and they are also listed in the registration guide along with the required scores. Lastly, the requirement to complete the sexual abuse prevention program was introduced in January 2022. For Ontario applicants and internationally educated teachers, this is a requirement for certification. Teachers who have been certified to teach in another Canadian province or territory and are certified with the college pursuant to the Ontario Labour Mobility Act must complete the program within 1 year of their initial certification with the college. The program is offered at no cost, and successful completion of the program requires a minimum score of 80% on the final knowledge assessment test. Once completed, your document status page will be updated to reflect the completion of the document requirement, and you will receive an email. Once certified, a notion will appear on your public register page indicating that the program has been completed. We will now discuss the document requirements related to the registration requirements. There are documents that you will submit to the college directly, such as the proof of identity, the criminal record check, and your teaching certificate. You can upload many of these documents to your file directly through your document status page on the online application. Official documents such as transcripts, statements of professional standing, and proof of language proficiency documents must be submitted to the college directly from the issuing authority. The evaluation of your credentials is based solely on the documents we receive, and for this reason, the college relies on official documents. Official documents are those that are sent directly from the issuing authority that contain the seal and signature of the appropriate official. The college can accept documents arriving via email, provided they arrive through a pre-approved or verifiable source. If we receive a document we cannot confirm is official, we will send a letter to the institution to verify the document, and we will notify you through your document status page that this has been done. Listed here are examples of unacceptable documents. The college, for instance, does not accept issued to student transcripts or documents that are hand-delivered to the college in sealed envelopes. Also, if a family member or friend is arranging for the documents on your behalf, please let them know that the institution must send them to the college directly. If they are sent in by an individual or institution that did not issue the document, they will be deemed unacceptable. If the college receives an unacceptable document, you will be advised through your document status page to arrange for an official document. There are some third-party providers that are recognized providers of transcripts, and we will go through these in a few minutes. Transcripts received through an approved third party will be acceptable. The college requires official degree transcripts for all credentials listed on your application form. Transcripts for your post-secondary degrees, including your teacher education program transcripts, must be sent directly by the institution which issued the document, and they must bear the seal and signature of the appropriate official, such as the registrar or controller of examinations. In addition to your transcript, the college may ask you for a copy of the degree, diploma, or certificate you received. Transcripts must contain a list of all courses completed, the grades and hours or credits for each course, the title of the degree, and the date the degree was awarded or conferred. There are specific additional requirements for the teacher education program, and these will be reviewed in the next slide. If any of this information is not included on your transcript, please ask the institution to also send the college an official letter verifying the additional information. If the official transcript doesn't provide course hour information, we would accept a copy of your syllabus if it contains this information. We recognize that some jurisdictions issue academic records only once. In these cases, the college will require a verification letter confirming the awarding of the degree, in addition to the issued to student transcripts. Check your online application very carefully, and we will tell you exactly from where we expect to receive the documents. It is your responsibility to arrange the documents to be sent directly from the granting institution. If some of your credits came from a different institution, you may have to get a transcript from that institution as well. Like the academic transcripts reviewed on the previous slide, teacher education transcripts must contain a list of all courses completed, the grades and hours or credits for each course, the title of the degree awarded, and the date the degree was awarded or conferred. There are two additional requirements for the content of the transcripts for your teacher education program. The college requires information on the teaching method subjects you completed, including the grade or age level related to these subjects. The college also requires evidence of supervised practice teaching. If any of the content required on the transcript is not included on the document issued by your institution, please ask the institution to also send the college an official letter verifying the additional information. If you did not complete 80 days of practice teaching as part of your teacher education program, but you have completed at least 1 year of teaching experience, arrange for an education authority or a principal to send the letter directly to the college. This teaching experience must have occurred as a certified teacher after having completed your teacher education program. The official letter needs to verify that you taught for at least 1 year in a public elementary or secondary school. It must also list the dates of your employment and the grade levels and subjects you taught. Your teacher education program must be academic, not employment-based, and completed at the post-secondary level. It must also lead to certification or authorization to teach in the jurisdiction where you completed the program. The college accepts digital or electronic transcripts received through a number of providers. If you've previously had your credentials assessed by World Education Services, You may contact them and ask them to share your documents with the college. Also, please check with your institution, as many use third-party providers to issue their transcripts in electronic format or to verify transcripts. Those that the college currently accepts are listed here. Once we receive the notification that allows us to access or verify documents from providers, we will retrieve them and update your document status page to confirm receipt. Please know that this list continues to grow as new providers are identified. For example, we are currently working to add True Copy for transcripts received from India and the Higher Education Council Verification Service in Pakistan. We consider electronic documents only if they are sent directly through the official online platform of your academic institution or through a recognized third-party provider. The Statement of Professional Standing provides information about your past professional practice as a teacher. It is used for both the assessment of professional suitability as well as the assessment of professional credentials. All statements of professional standing must be sent directly to us. We must receive this document from the education authority in the jurisdiction where you completed your initial teacher education program. Even if you have not taught in that jurisdiction, it is required because it confirms that your education program qualified you to teach in the public school system. We also require this document from the education authorities in all other jurisdictions outside Ontario where you have held or currently hold a teaching certificate or authorization to teach. This is necessary even if you have never used your certificate to teach in that jurisdiction and even if the certificate has expired. The statement must verify whether you were authorized to teach in the jurisdiction, and it must state whether your authorization to teach was ever cancelled, suspended, or revoked. The statement must be an original and be signed by the appropriate official. It cannot be older than 1 year from when the college receives it. We recognize that some jurisdictions have no central authority governing the teaching profession. We encourage you to refer to the country-specific information on the college's website or your document status page on your online application for information on how to obtain a statement of professional standing from the jurisdiction where you completed your teacher education program or from any other jurisdiction where you've taught. When you request documents to be sent to us, if they are issued in a language other than English or French, please see if your institution is able to include your name in English or French or provide your application number, as this will help reduce the time needed to process the document. If we are unable to identify who the document is for, we will arrange for a translation of the name that appears on the document. Keep in mind, this will slow down the application process. When we receive a document directly from the institution and the document is not in English or French, we will send you a copy with instructions outlining our translation requirements. We want an official translation of the document that we received. Please do not translate documents that you have in your possession, as the translations will not be acceptable. Translations can be very expensive, so please wait for the documents we send you for translation. Instructions on locating an acceptable translator are available on the college website and will also be provided to you when you are sent a document for translation. Each country has its own specific policies related to educational documents. The college conducts research on the appropriate sources in your jurisdiction for the documentation required. Through the country-specific information in the Becoming a Teacher section of the website, you can select the jurisdiction to learn how to obtain your transcripts, statement of professional standing, and teaching certificates. Your document status page will also contain this information, as well as any updates on the documents we have already received. There may also be circumstances that make it impossible to arrange for documents to be sent to the college directly from the official source. For example, the institution may have experienced a natural disaster, or it could have closed down for other reasons. Or your personal circumstance may make it challenging for you to obtain the document. If you experience difficulty arranging for an institution or organization to send the documents directly to the college, please complete the Request for Assistance form that's available on the college website. This form requests information on the document you are trying to obtain, any supporting documents you may have in your possession, and details of the attempts you have made to obtain the document or the reasons why you have not contacted the institution to obtain the document. Once received, we will advise you if and how we can help. The college will make every effort to assist applicants provided that the document would otherwise be available. In some cases, and with your permission, we will attempt to obtain the document on your behalf. In other cases, we will begin the process of identifying options of alternative documents. If you have completed your online application, you will have already received an email confirming that your application has been received and processed. Through the document status page available to you, we will list all the required documents and provide information specific to you. You are also able to directly upload certain documents to your file, such as your proof of identity document or teaching certificate. As documents are received, we will keep you informed of the progress of each of your document requirements. It is important that you review the application status page of your online application periodically to receive an update on the status of the documents received. Processing timelines for documents received in records is currently approximately 30 days. An application does not move to the next stage until all required documents have been received and processed. Once all your documents have been received and accepted, your file will move to our Evaluation Services unit. This will be reflected on your application status page. Your application is valid for 2 years from the day we processed your file. When the end of this 2-year period is approaching, you will receive a letter advising you of your next steps and the documents that are still outstanding. We conclude this session with a summary of the many resources referred to in our session today. These resources are available through the Becoming a Teacher section of the college website. We encourage you to review your document status page as well as these resources as you arrange to complete your document requirements.